Hello folks, I'm going to be showing you my collection today. It's a pretty small collection, but I have a few interesting items worth mentioning, I suppose. As you can see, I'm a pretty big GameCube enthusiast. I have an NR reader right there. It's a debugging kind of tester tool. It can read burnt discs basically. And it's sitting atop of a Tales of Symphonia Game Boy player. Kind of interesting, I suppose. Here's my boxed NES and 16-bit stuff here, and some, as you can see, I do a lot of Japanese stuff, mainly because it's, I don't know, I just like the Japanese box art and Japanese games in general. Here's an American Shadows of the Empire, one of my favorite N64 games. In fact, it's the first N64 game I ever got, I believe. Anyhow, let's go down to my 8-bit stuff here. Just quickly scroll through. Nothing too interesting, to be honest. Yeah, just typical stuff. Got a bunch of Famicom games. Really love my Famicom system. A lot of great games on there that never made it over to the West. Also got, you know, as you can see, complete in box stuff here. Maru and Mario 3 all complete. And here's some disk system games. I'm going to throw them on the floor here. Got the racing games going. That's a loose copy of Metroid. Let's see this other stack here. Zelda, your typical stuff, Halcyon. Bubble Bobble, this one's probably the most expensive one that I've bought. Fairly uncommon. And got Doki Doki Panic, of course. And last but not least, Baby Uppa. Kind of uncommon Konami game. Very Japanese. Very silly. Here's a complete in box Joy Mecha Fighter. Pretty much brand spanking new. It was like, I was actually kind of surprised in the quality when I actually received it from Japan. It was pretty good. Here's Yumi Penguin Monogatari, which is another classic Konami platformer / shoot 'em up. Oh my god, I can't say enough about it. Highly Japanese. I don't know, I can't really say much more about it. Phenomenal game. Everybody needs to check this game out. And I'm sure some of you have heard of this one. Kid Dracula, it's a spin-off of Castlevania. Pretty fun overall. Got a lot of character. Another Konami game, Crisis Force. Very fun shoot 'em up. Very advanced. Graphics are very impressive for an 8-bit game. And these guys right here are some of my first NES games. I got these when I was 5 as kind of a hand-me-down from my cousin who was going away to college, and she gave me an NES with 15 games, and I was a really happy kid, and I still have them today. These are the original cartridges that I had all the way back then, and pretty much got me going into Nintendo collecting. Bubble Bobble, probably, I think this is like the first game I picked up later on as an adult. I used to play this in the arcade a lot, and this is a pretty faithful recreation of the arcade game. Pretty fun little platformer. And continuing down the shelf here, just got all the rest of my 16 and 64-bit stuff going on. Nothing too remarkable here in terms of the 64 games. Just a bunch of random stuff. Nothing really to see there. I'm just gonna get these out of the way so you can see the Super Nintendo stuff. And even then, admittedly, I'm not as interested in this era. But anyway. And this is kind of interesting. This is a N64 disk system game. N64 DD. I believe this is Doshin the Giant. I don't have the actual hardware to play it, but the game itself was cheap enough, so I picked it up. Here's my Super Famicom games. I just have a random selection here. It's a Gundam fighting game, Gundam Wing fighting game, pretty fun. Here's Fantastic Parodius. Extremely crazy, over the top Konami game. Super fun. Can't say enough about it. Here's a Twin B platformer. I can't remember the exact name, to be honest, but pretty fun. It reminds me a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog, actually. Pretty fast. Pretty cool little game. And here's Sonic Wings, also known as Aero Fighters. I recommend picking this up over the American counterpart. It's a lot cheaper. Here's Sin and Punishment, Japanese exclusive. Pretty fun third-person, kind of on-the-rails shooter. And here is my original Super Smash Brothers. I remember I picked this up in like 3rd or 4th grade. Everybody was playing this game, and this was so great. So this is a funny story. I got this Goemon's Great Adventure from my cousin in the early 2000s. I had it for a couple years. Then I sold it to a small used game store, and it sat on their shelf for like a couple years. And then I went back to the store and saw they hadn't sold it yet, so I actually bought it off of them again. Yeah, pretty funny. Japanese Hey You Pikachu, complete in box. Not much to say. And continuing down my second shelf here, here's a Char's Custom GameCube, pretty cool. Here's my original black GameCube, as well as the Orange Spice one. I had the box for it as well, I just don't have it out on display. But yeah. Anyway, getting into my DS and other handheld complete in box stuff. Yeah, not very many games. I have a few, but here's Alien Hominid for Game Boy Advanced. And underneath that was Pokemon Emerald. Here's Mario's Tennis Virtual Boy, complete in box, practically brand new at that. I got most of the Japanese Pokemon games, as you can see there. Here's The Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls. Pretty quirky little RPG. Pretty interesting. Put that back. I got Link's Awakening as well, complete in box. I'd like to get the DX version as well, that'd be cool. At some point they had started releasing classic NES games on Game Boy Advance, and here's the Japanese equivalents. They have some pretty cool packaging, I'd have to say. They kind of emulate the original boxes. Anyway, here's some DS stuff. Got Game & Watch Collection 1 and 2 there. And here's my Japanese GameCube collection. Donkey Konga 1 and 3. Yeah, nothing too interesting there. Smash Bros. Sunshine. Anyway, here's my American games. Nothing too interesting. Chibi Robo. Got the Zelda games. The let me see. Here's Doshin the Giant on GameCube. Originally, it was a N64 DD game. Got ported. I believe this was released in Europe on GameCube, but never made it over in the United States. Here's the manual. I love the manual. It was actually kind of cool. The floral background pattern, pretty cool. And of course, one of my favorite games, Wind Waker here, Japanese box. I really love the art on it compared to the American version. And here's Pac-Man Versus. This was bundled in a couple different games in the West, but in Japan, the only way to get it was through Club Nintendo, so it's kind of cool. And I actually have one of these kiosk demo discs. These are the kind of discs that you would see at retail stores You know, you could play various demos. I don't remember what's on this one in particular off the top of my head, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. And let's continue down the shelf here. Just kind of have some Switch games laying on top of here. Anyhow, let's take a quick look at my Wii collection. Got some random Japanese games mixed in there, as you can see. Last Story, Metal Slug, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Yeah, nothing too interesting there. Got Japanese Smash and Mario 3D World. And this is Captain Rainbow, Japanese exclusive. I don't know what you want to call it. It's kind of an RPG-ish. I don't know how to explain it. It's a pretty bizarre game. I'm not even going to talk about it. Just put that back. Alright, so let's go look at the hardware. This is the stuff I actually play. N64, GameCube, Wii U. Got my little NES Classic under there. And these guys are more or less for show. As you can see, I also got a mini SNES under there as well. And this little drawer here has got some plushies, and it also has my controllers. Got all kinds of controllers in here, including these unusual little specimens. These are Switch controllers, shaped like Famicom controllers. Yeah, just N64 stuff. This is a Yoshi Wii controller. I also have a Toad one somewhere. I don't know where it is. And down here at the bottom, pretty much audio, video cables, and power adapters. Not much to see in there, to be honest. And have the second set of shelves here, which contains some just miscellaneous rubbish. Got a bunch of amiibos and figurines. Yeah, I don't even know. Just a bunch. Yeah. Not much to see, really. Got the audio-video version of the Famicom and the American counterpart, NES 101. Pretty cool. Got some GameCube controllers on there as well. Moving on to my little PC corner here, I have above it, I got some framed pictures of some Famicom Disk System flyers showcasing some of the various games on the platform. And below that I got my Virtual Boy as well as my VR Labo set there. Anyway, let's look at some Game Boy software. I'm not going to go through every single thing, but I'll just kind of pull some cartridges out for you here. Got my American or English Pokemon cartridges here. Japanese stuff mixed in there. Yeah, Japanese Crystal and Yellow. Yeah, just a mixture of stuff. Here's a copy of Koro Koro Kirby, or Kirby's Tilt and Tumble. Japanese copy. Winnie the Pooh, yeah, just random stuff. Donkey Kong Country. And Game Boy Advance stuff. Nothing too spectacular. Got Crazy Racers, the Konami game. Pretty fun. I recommend checking that out, especially if you liked Super Circuit. Bobble Bobble, Wario World. Of course, I got the full set of Mario Advanced games there. Mario Superstar Saga. Yeah, and let's look at the hardware here. Game Boy Micro, and a Game Boy Light, Game Boy Color, along with a Game Boy camera. I've had that forever, the Game Boy camera. Here's orange, black, Japanese Game Boy Color. Here is my sister's pink Game Boy Advance. And here I got a couple original Game Boys. Got a US model and a Japanese model. The only difference really is the stickers on the back, and that's it. Other than that, they are identical. And that's my original Game Boy Advance that I had as a kid, along with an e-reader. And now that we're nearing the end, let's look at some oddities. So first up, we got some e-reader cards. Got the set of Mario 3 cards. Got some random Pokemon battle cards that were compatible with Ruby Sapphire. Got Mario Party game. And some random Animal Crossing stuff in there. And got some Pokemon cards. These you could scan in and make a little platformer game. It's pretty cool. Here's my Game & Watch collection. I've already done a video on every single one of these. If you want to check out my channel, you can go watch them. Got Manhole, Parachute, Octopus, Fire, Turtle Bridge, Mario's Cement Factory, Donkey Kong Jr., Mario Bros., and Lifeboat. And as some of you may know, Nintendo got started making playing cards and Hunda Funda cards. Here's an example, probably 70s, maybe early 80s. This is a newer deck, probably from around 2014. Here's a Platinum playing card deck. That was a Club Nintendo giveaway, I think from 2011-ish. Here's a Hanafunda cards. You can pick these up at Nintendo New York location. Here's some 1970s Nintendo toys. Got the Lefty RX, Super Scope, and Shot Racer. I've already done a video on each one of these. You can go check out my channel for those if you wish. Here is a Color TV Game 15. It's basically a Pong clone. It's got these little removable controllers. Pretty cool. Here is the Japanese equivalent of the Zapper. It's a Famicom light gun. As you can see, it's a little bit more realistic than the Western counterpart. Here's the 10 billion barrel. It's kind of like a logic puzzle type of thing, kind of similar to a Rubik's Cube. You just got to line up these colors along the different columns. Yeah, kind of interesting. Here is a GameCube pen holder, I guess. It's basically a cup. Bought this on eBay years ago. They advertised it as being like a Nintendo staff official thing, but I don't know how true that is. Here's my soundtrack collection. Here's Mario 64. I've had this one since I was a kid, so that's why the manual or the front of it's missing, unfortunately. Got Mario, Super Smash Bros. Wii U, Mario Kart 8, soundtrack to Odyssey, and Super Mario 3D World. Here's a driver disc for the Nintendo Wi-Fi USB connector. It was basically a Wi-Fi adapter dongle that you can attach to your Windows XP computer and play your DS and Wii on. I had the dongle somewhere, I just couldn't find it. Anyway, here's some random books. Before Mario, classic book, Super Famicom box art collection, pretty interesting. And the last edition of Nintendo Power. And to wrap things up, I have actually 2 separate units of this GameCube screen. It's awful. I highly recommend no one buy these. They are always garbage. At least the 2 that I have owned are. Either their sound is busted, the color is busted, or the colors are just washed out. Yeah, not very good product.